My wife gave me a shout out on Facebook, right there for all our friends and family to see. She thanked me publicly for giving her one of the coolest jobs ever. She'd already been in his bed by the time that post went live. I stumbled onto that little secret 4 months later, and the night I did, I made a decision I kept locked up tight. Not my lawyer, not my family, not even my closest buddy knew a thing. I just clammed up and started paying attention. My name is Keith, and before you assume you know how this ends, you don't. I built something most people only dream about, and she used it as cover. Custom-built ramps, pro riders, the kind of traveling spectacle that transforms an empty parking lot into a destination worth driving an hour to see. Built it with my own 2 hands, my own savings, and more early mornings than I can count. When Danielle walked into my life, she just clicked the way the right person does. Sharp, energetic, killer on the phone, great with clients, exactly what a traveling show needs. She handled bookings, logistics, the client relationships I'd spent years nurturing. We were a real team, a force to be reckoned with. We went to church together, volunteered together, and the whole time she was learning which parts of my life were easiest to burn down. She ran a group called the Mommies Club. Posted about our life every week. Turns out, the posts were the most fictional thing in our house. But there was one thing I couldn't shake that summer. One name that kept popping up in conversation. Francisco. She mentioned him the way you mention a new acquaintance in your professional circle. He'd come to one of our shows. He was interested in the business. Seemed like a nice guy. I filed it away and moved on. 3 words I'll never say again. A few months into the following season, I glanced at her phone one evening, and his name flashed across the screen. Curiosity piqued. I opened the message thread, read just enough to understand what I was looking at, placed the phone back exactly where I'd found it, and walked outside. I stood in the driveway for what felt like forever, watching every light in the neighborhood blink out, one by one. I didn't cry, didn't march back inside to confront her. I just thought it through. One thought stopped me cold. The moment she finds out I know, every text, every call record, every receipt disappears forever. So I made sure she never found out. I went back inside, kissed my wife goodnight, and the next morning, while she was in the shower, I started making copies. What I found didn't just confirm the affair. It told me exactly how long they'd been betting on me to fall apart. In just a few months, Danielle and Francisco had racked up approximately 6,000 minutes on the phone together. More than 4 full days worth of calls, mind you, while she was booking our shows. Sitting across from me at dinner, posting in the Mommies Club. He had rented hotel rooms close to our house, one of them just down the street. He had been to our home. He had been around our daughter. Every phone record, every text, every hotel receipt within 2 miles of the bed we shared. I printed it, dated it, and said nothing. Then one afternoon, I walked through my own front door, and he was standing in my living room like he paid the mortgage. Weeks of quiet, calculated patience. Gone in about 4 seconds. He put me in a chokehold in my own home, in front of my wife, and Danielle caught the whole thing on her phone. Standing in the driveway afterward, my hands still trembling, something became crystal clear. This wasn't just the end of a marriage. This was a calculated effort to dismantle everything I'd built. The business, the reputation, everything, and they were both betting on me to crumble. I decided right then and there that I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction. While I was still processing the chokehold, the business started bleeding out, and she was holding the knife. Bookings she managed fell through the cracks. Clients I'd spent years cultivating went silent. Revenue I'd been counting on for the next season simply vanished. I sat with that folder for weeks. Then I made one phone call that changed everything. I asked about something called alienation of affection. My attorney told me to bring everything I had. I brought the folder. She went through it with a fine-tooth comb. And when she looked up, she said, "This is a very classic case that just happens to have all of the factors." I asked her what that meant. Her answer was blunt. "It means we have everything we need." After I filed, the silence was deafening, the part nobody warns you about. Francisco was served and then nothing. No response, no appearance, no indication he took it seriously. Notices were published in newspapers across 2 states. Dozens of letters were sent out. Attempts to reach him dragged on for months without a single reply. Ignoring a lawsuit doesn't make it go away. It hands the other side a loaded gun, and in civil court, that gun fires automatically. The only question left was the amount. The morning the judge opened that folder, my folder, I watched his expression shift. He reviewed everything Francisco had done, used the word reprehensible to describe it, and then read the number. I sat still, my mind racing. I thought about the driveway, the chokehold, the Mommies Club post, The 6,000 minutes on the phone. I thought about the folder, the quiet, meticulous thing I'd built one piece of evidence at a time, while everyone around me assumed I was just a broken husband falling apart. Someone pulled me aside afterward and asked the question everyone was thinking but wouldn't say out loud. Was this ever really about the money? I told them the truth. It wasn't. What I'd been through felt like a bomb detonating in the heart of everything I held dear. But the person who survives something like that doesn't run from it. They survive by being the last one standing when the dust finally settles. When it was all over, I had 5 words. Not for the court, not for my lawyer, just for myself. If it wasn't for him. He assumed he was getting one over on me. He couldn't have been more wrong about what was really happening. Anyone else ever bite their tongue when every fiber of their being was screaming for a reaction? Sometimes the best move is to wait it out. Let me know in the comments if you've been there.